Hey, what is going on everybody? It is Nolan, or the Optimistic Gamer here, and welcome back to the Optimistic Survival Series. I know I said that we would be working on our museum again today, finishing up the exterior, but I realized we do not have any way to farm mud. Now, of course, we could go out to the mangrove forest and do that the old-fashioned way, or we could use this plot that we conveniently have dedicated to manufacturing mud. Now, I did find a very small, compact mud machine that we are going to build. I did not design this myself. I will leave a link to the tutorial for this down below. So we are going to build this right here. I'm still trying to decide if I want to annex our concrete factory that we have right here, or have a separate building altogether. I think for the sake of space though, we will probably annex this and just have it extend out a little bit from that building, and then we could even have a doorway in between if we really wanted to. So we are going to build the machine first, and then we will build a nice structure around it that is much more welcoming. So I'm going to go gather all those materials, and then we will get started. Okay, I should have everything that we will need here in our redstone chest, plus some cobbled deep slate. We are going to use deep slate bricks, or maybe tiles. I think tiles might look a little bit nicer for this. We will use those for the frame of the machine. So we are going to start with a large chest placed down right here, and then some glass on top of that, and a hopper going into it. And apparently we only have 2 hoppers left, I guess, after our wood house, our wood storage over at the tree farm. That would make sense, so I'm gonna need to grab a few more of those. Well, we are certainly going to need to refill all of our hoppers here. I will work on that in the future, but we should have enough to finish this machine. Alright, and then we will get our repeater right there, a redstone torch behind it, and this is our last redstone torch. I think we are going to need one more of those, but we can just craft one if we had any sticks, which we do not. We are just out of everything right now, aren't we? Alright, here we go. We can craft some redstone torches, and we will need some more redstone dust. Now we should be good. And then we will put one more block there, and then one more right here. This is about the size of this machine. It will be a little bit taller, but it doesn't go back too much farther than this. And then we will have one more repeater facing there, a redstone torch right there, and we can remove this block right here with that redstone torch. And now we will have a dispenser facing out that way, and one more facing backwards like this, and then we will have another hopper facing into that dispenser. It is time to make some glass bottles now. Do we have a crafting table in here? We do not. We do have a bunch right up here though. I brought all of the glass with us, so we should be able to make a few. We are going to need a lot more than this, but we can start to fill up this dispenser right here. Let's see what we have at our potion brewing house. We might have a handful of empty bottles in here. We have 18 in there. I thought we would have had more, so we will have to get some sand smelting. I don't think we can make bottles with dyed glass, but if we can, that would be very nice, because we do have a lot of that right now. Let's give it a try with our purple glass here. I don't think it's gonna work. Yeah, I didn't think it would. So we will get some sand going in our smelter, and that will work in the background while we finish up the farm. While we wait for the glass, it is time to build our bubble column, or water column, I guess. So we will have 3 blocks here, 1 block right there, and then a couple more here in the back as well. And then we will go ahead and put in a few trapdoors right back there, and then we will have a hopper going into that dispenser, and then we will have a few more blocks going around this perimeter up top. So let's go ahead and put the water into our column right now. That way we can just get that taken care of. And we are actually just about finished with this farm itself. We just need to make sure that we have all of those slots of the dispenser and the hopper pretty much entirely full. So I went to the desert and got a lot more sand because we were running a little bit short on all of that. But we should have enough now to finish that up. And then we will just need to figure out our dirt situation because we actually do not have very much dirt at the moment. Maybe we can just go 10,000 blocks away and start digging a giant pit or something like that. We will figure it out, we always do. And now we will make the mechanism which will dispense dirt to us while we run the machine. So we will have a dropper facing us. Actually, this will be 1 block lower, and it will be a dropper, not a dispenser. So that will be facing us, a hopper facing into that, and then we will put a couple chests on top of there. That is where we will store our dirt. A large chest right now is quite optimistic, but hey, first of all, stay optimistic, and second of all, we will hopefully fill that up by the end of the episode. Again, not sure where we're going to source this dirt, but we will figure that out. And to finish this farm off, we will put a redstone dust right here. We will put 1 more block up top. That is where we will place our dirt while we turn it into mud. And that is pretty much this farm. So again, we are just waiting on the glass in here. It's probably getting close. That chest is empty now. We have a couple stacks in there. It looks like there are a couple furnaces. Well, is everything... Oh, uh-oh. I didn't realize that we were out of fuel. So we will have to get that taken care of. I guess we do have that fuel chest right there, and we do have a lot of buckets in there, so that would make sense. Let's see how much glass we can get out of what we have, and then we will decide if we need to fill that up right now. And yeah, we definitely will, because this is not going to be enough bottles. Alright, so we have our lava in there. We can go ahead and power this. I can't believe I still don't have a lever for that. I guess we can make one real quick. And it has to be cobblestone. Should have known. We will just go down here to one of our creeper holes to source that. Alright, so we are up and running there. That should fill all of those furnaces up with lava buckets. It did not get that last one though. I'm assuming some of these hoppers back here are not quite full. That's okay, we have more buckets right there, and that is just cobblestone in there. We will relocate that sand to the next furnace over. And now we will just wait for all of that glass to finish. We should see that pouring in there. Excellent. We need to fill up the hopper with 4 1/4 stacks. Not that one right there, but this one. Where is it? Or maybe it is that one. No, it is the one behind this chest right here underneath that dispenser. But once that is full, then the farm will be operational. I'm going to take this time to find some dirt, and I will meet all of you back here once the bottles are finished and this chest is somewhat full. You know, I'm out here in the desert digging up all of this sand, completely forgetting about the fact that we can buy glass directly from villagers. I just have to remember who trades for glass, and I actually think it is our librarians and cartographers, so off to the village. Now that is more like it. And we just leveled this librarian up. Let's see if we got anything good. Nothing from that, no new books. So that should be enough glass for us. We should hopefully be able to finish this farm now. I went underground and found a few dirt spots, dirt veins, I guess, to dig up. So we have a decent amount of dirt to start with anyway. We will have to get a little bit more, but it should hopefully be enough to get us going on our museum exterior. So let's craft all of these glass blocks into bottles. And I don't know, I think we still might be short actually. Let's see how we do. So we need 4 stacks and 1/4 in here, and we are short by about a stack. We need about 1.5 more stacks, so back to the village one last time. Okay, so now we have enough glass bottles to fill this hopper almost all the way full, but not quite. We want 16 in this final slot. There we go. The water is primed, the bottles are primed, the dirt that we have is primed, we are ready to put this thing into action. So what we will do, we will hold a little bit of dirt in our offhand, and we will just stand here, placing the dirt and destroying it at the same time. I think our shovel might be a little too fast for this. Let me try with an iron shovel. Or if we could get away with a diamond shovel, this one has Unbreaking 3 on it, so we could put Mending on here as well and use that instead. Oh, I almost forgot. We also need to cover this up at the top. As we saw, those bottles will go flying if we don't. So just a couple blocks right up there. That will take care of that. Alright, so let's try this again with the diamond shovel this time. That's more like it. Alright, there we go. That is working pretty well. So I'm just gonna stand here for a few minutes until we run out of dirt. We will see how much mud we come away with. And I think we have a glitch in the system. I don't think it is supposed to be like this. I think these bottles need to all be inside of this dispenser. Not really sure how those got misplaced, although I think I have a theory about this. When they were flying out, we didn't have the perfect number that we needed inside of there, so that has thrown off the equilibrium of this machine. But it looks like it might be doing better now. So we will just see how we do with this. I'm gonna play around with it and meet you back here really soon. Okay, I have hopefully ironed out all of the kinks with this, and now we can run it as it is intended to be run, and it is working pretty well. You will see occasionally we do have some of those glitches, and I need to figure out where the water bottles are spilling out into our inventory. Perhaps we are just standing a little bit too close to the machine, but as you can see, we are getting, we'll go ahead and get one more to make it an even stack here, but we are getting a pretty good amount of mud. 5 stacks already is what we are up to. 1 mud block here is the equivalent of 1 mud brick block. Of course, we need the same amount of wheat, whether we want to harvest our giant field over here, guarded by a creeper, or perhaps use our farm or something. In fact, I think that is what we will do. That might be a little bit more efficient. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this farm up here with some wheat seeds. That should hopefully grow pretty quickly, and that will definitely give us enough wheat to make all of that packed mud. But now, we just need to finish off our building right down here. Now, I don't want to build this out of mud bricks because, well, that wouldn't really make any sense. How would we be able to build this with mud if we do not yet have the mud? So we will opt for something along the lines of maybe normal bricks to match our concrete factory, maybe some wood. We could always go the tough brick route. We have a lot of tough, and we haven't really used tough over in this region yet. So I think we will do that. Maybe we will outline the roof in deep slate, some kind of form of deep slate, and perhaps maybe, well, I don't know what we will do for the roof yet. We will figure that out in just a moment. So I'm gonna go grab some tough. We will get the, what did I say we were using for the roof? Deep slate. I will get tough and deep slate. And then we also need to figure out the floor in here as well. But then we should be finished with our mud factory and ready for building the rest of the museum. Let's go ahead and begin with our walls. Now, just because we have this purple wool here doesn't mean that we have to follow it strictly. We can expand or contract it as we see fit. But I think this is actually a pretty good size for this building. This is sort of centered. I think what we will do is either extend this wall out by 1 so we have 2 blocks on this side, or bring this wall in by 1 so that we have 1 on that side. I think what we will do is probably extend it in by 1 just so we have this variation in the depth here in the facade of what will hopefully be a row of buildings. We might be able to get one more right here, but I just want all of these buildings to be sort of connected and have that more old architecture style where you have all of these different looking buildings put right next to each other and with no space in between. So that's what we are going for. I think we will have that variation in the depth here in the front, but again, I want it to be even on the inside, so we will go ahead and move this wall in by 1 block. We are going to start with our tuff, and I just brought a bunch of raw tuff over. We can craft this into whatever we would like. I think we will go with tough bricks for the base, and I think we have some shears in our tool chest. There we go. We are almost dead on the shears, but this will be enough to get this job done right here. So we will start again with our tough bricks. Where did those go? Oh, here they are. And we will just place a single row. We will worry about the doors and the windows here in a second, as well as kind of finishing off the path right here, or maybe landscaping as we have done in front of that building right there. So we will then turn this, and what we might be able to do, since it is a corner building and we have a slight curve in the path, it's not a perfect 90-degree angle, we might actually curve this building a little bit. So we will take that back a few blocks, and then maybe we could place, well, let's go back 1 more, and then we can do 2, 1, and then we can have 2 blocks right here, and then that can go back the rest of the way, which will then be to this point right here, where that wall will extend back towards our concrete factory. Let's see how that looks once we remove the rest of this wool. We could even throw a second layer up on here so we really get an idea of that shape. The only thing I'm worried about is that it might not give us enough space inside to work with, but I think that should actually be fine. How does that look from the edge? I actually really like that. I think that is going to work out for us. Once we get some landscaping in here, that should hopefully look really nice. This is actually why we left that slab here and didn't continue that all the way across, as opposed to this side where those slabs do go all the way across. That's because this wall, and I knew this during planning, this wall would go all the way up to the height of where those slabs are, and it would kind of cut that off. So we are going to extend this up. It is still a factory, even though a small one, a factory nonetheless. So we want to make sure that we have plenty of headspace inside so that we have clearance for all of our machinery to run efficiently. So 5 blocks here, I think that is a good height for us. We will do the same thing here in the back as well. As for right here, we could either have it go up against the brick walls, which I think we will do. I actually kind of like that. Then we get sort of that unique pattern here in those walls where they are in and then they come out for 1 pixel and then go back in. So we will do that, and we will fill in the rest of this wall with our tough bricks. Excellent. I think that is going to work quite nicely for us. This is the fun part, designing this roof. I think what we will do is maybe, what is this building right here? Is this our hydro plant? Yes, it is. Remember, we are hopefully planning on having a river with a dam, maybe even right here, extending from our artificial lake that we built way back in the day. I don't remember what episode that was, but it was a while ago. We are going to have that river flow all the way out to our ocean by the boathouse, which was one of our first structures, so that's going to go a ways. I think we might leave room for this to be pretty tall, so we're not going to do too much with the roof on this side. But at the same time, it will be a while before we get around to that, so we might do a temporary roof that we can go back and change. I think we will put the door right here. This is a good spot for it, and then we can have a nice picture window right here in this curved section. We could even do a couple more windows right here, if we can line this up the way we want. Is that how we want to do that? I think that is fine. I know we have 2 blocks there and 1 block here, but I think that is okay. So let's go ahead and chisel a little more tough here. I think we will go with the chiseled tough, actually, and we will put this underneath all of our windows. We will need 5 of that, and that will go right here, and a couple more there. Do we like that? It's a little bit busy. I'm not sure. I might warm up to it. I'm not 100% sure about it right now, but it might grow on me. We will see. We can always go back and change it too. That's the beauty of this game. The other thing I'm thinking is maybe we just continue this roof pattern over, or at least continue the stone bricks going across and then choose a different texture for the main part of the roof. I'm gonna go grab some stone bricks and we will play around with that. Well, we do not have any stone on hand, but that's okay because my concern with doing that is that we might not get enough contrast between the tuff and the stone bricks. Looking at it right here, those are very similar in color. Of course, this has that more greenish tint to it, whereas these are more flat and grayscale, but still, there's not a whole lot of variation. So I think we might stick with our original plan, which was the deep slate, and we will go with just the basic. Well, we might do the tiles. That will not only match what we have inside, but that will give even more contrast because those are slightly darker than the other deep slate brick slabs. Do we want to do that here, or do we want to put it one block higher? Let's see how this looks. Of course, if we do something like this, we will have to take down that top layer for the roof, but I think that might work for us. I do actually kind of like that, and I like this whole feel that we are creating here in this little intersection plaza, I guess, if that's what we want to call it. Of course, we are still pending the power plant right here and the hydro plant, so lots of energy will be coming here. This is actually going to be the power plant. This is where we will make our lava, and we will also have a transportation method that takes that lava directly into the smelting factory right there. That we should probably address in the near future, since our old lava plant slash smelting factory is sort of dated. I do have plans for that building. That is another time though. So I think we will go with this. I like that height for the deep slate bricks. So let's hop up here and remove that top layer. What can I throw in here? How about that shovel? We will remove this top layer of tough bricks, and that will give us a little bit more space to work with on the roof. Now I think we will do a fun pattern here. We're going to extend that out by 1, and then we will go back by 1 and up, and then back and up, and we will repeat this pattern all the way until we get to this back corner of the building right here, which will actually put us at the same height as our concrete factory. And then we will go around to this side right here. And how do we want to do this? Do we want to go... I think we will just go from right here. This will work. We will go back and up. And again, we will follow that exact same pattern that we did on the other side, just going back and up by 1 block. Now these are not going to line up perfectly, so what we are going to instead do is go ahead and take off that top slab, and when we extend this one out, there, those now meet sort of at a point, and we will build the roof from here. So we're gonna have this really cool sort of quarter circle, whatever we want to call this. It's hard to visualize it right now if you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but once we start to fill in the slabs, then you will be able to see it. It's going to be a pretty unique design. I don't know if it will work, but I'm excited to find out. Now we just need to figure out what material we want in there. We could use brick and sort of do like a opposite color palette from the concrete factory right up there. We could use wood, we could use, well, we're not going to use red nether brick slabs. We learned that the hard way when we built that building. You know what? What if we did use mud slabs? I think that might work out for us. Before we do that though, I just want to look at all of our slabs just to get some ideas. And you know what? I'm glad I did, because I actually like the idea of maybe a diorite slab here. It might be totally off and look horrible, but I'm excited to see just how it turns out. Plus, I think we have a good amount of diorite. Yes, we do. We even have an overflow chest upstairs, so I need to empty my inventory a little bit. So we might need a few more slabs than this, but it might be enough. We'll fly down here and see. And what we're going to do is just start filling this in, following the pattern of these slabs, and it might actually be easier if we start from the top, and you will see why here in a moment. So these are going to extend across like this, again staying lined up with each of these slabs on their respective side. But as we go down, we're gonna have these diagonals start to fill in, and we can just go ahead and fill in this row all the way down to the bottom, and then we are just gonna go across, and again, following the perimeter of all of those slabs, and we're gonna skip the corners, so we're not gonna have any connected corners. Everything is just gonna be touching diagonally. Once again, I have no idea how this is gonna look with both the shape of it and the block choice, but we are about to find out here momentarily, and we are just a couple slabs short. Alright, here we go. Let's fill in the rest of these, and now we have to figure out where we want all of these corners to start to fill in, because we don't have perfect alignment here with covering up each of those connected diagonals. So we might do something like that, maybe following that pattern all the way down. This is where we kind of have to get creative with it, but I think that is pretty good. That might be as good as we are gonna get. I'm curious. Let's step back. Let's see if we can get over here on the roof. That was a total fail. There we go. Let's see if we can get onto the roof of our smelting factory. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think the diorite is the look. So let's go ahead and try this again, maybe with andesite this time. Okay, so the shape of this might not be the exact same, but I think that is a lot better than what we had before. It's definitely a lot more muted. I can see a few places where it's a little bit off with the shape of this. We will go in here real quick and correct that. That should help with that. There we go. I think that looks pretty good, and it leaves it open for this building right here since it just kind of cuts off right here on the back. We will go ahead and fill in this backside with our tough bricks now that we know that this is what we are going with. And I guess I didn't really think about this part right here, how we are going to do the rest of this wall. But that's okay. The roof is at a point that I think works for us, so we will just bring that down a little bit. I guess what we could maybe do is just replace this slab right up here, since this isn't visible from the front. Let's see if we can reach that. We will replace that slab with our tough bricks like so. And if we hop right up here, we can do one more underneath there, and that will work for us. I don't think we're going to be seeing the building from this side all that much. So that's going to work for us. I think the front of this build works for us. I'm pretty happy with how this is coming together. And again, the chiseled tuff is certainly growing on me. I think we still need a little bit more detailing here in the front, but for now, that's a good start. And we will go ahead and do one more over the doorway right there just to keep things consistent. So glass blocks, which I did get some going right in here. We will have glass blocks here for this big picture window, and then we will make a few panes for the rest of them. We can fill those in right there. As for the door, what door do we want to put on this building? I think we will go with... I think this building needs a copper door, so let's go make one of those real quick. And I love the idea of copper aging in our world. It sort of shows the age and longevity of our valley right down here, so we are going to leave it unwaxed and allow it to weather naturally. Plus, it also kind of shows us where we are and aren't for durations of time in our world. We do need to also replace the floor in here. I think for that we will maybe go with... I think we will go with polished andesite. I think that would have a really nice look. And then we also need to make sure that we get under and around this chest right here. And let's also go ahead and grab some lighting while we are back here as well. I think we'll keep things simple and use lanterns. So let's get in here, quickly place down our door since we have a handful of hostile monsters outside, and then we can fill in the rest of our floor around here with our polished andesite. This will help to brighten things a little bit, and I love the texture of this brick wall that we have right in here. That's another great thing about having these buildings that are adjacent to each other. I guess what we could go ahead and do if we wanted to is extend these tiles out by one more block. That way we can cover up these gaps in that roof right there. If we don't like how that looks from the outside, we can remove that row and extend the diorite one more block, but I think that will be okay. Let's place a lantern right there. That should light up a majority of this interior right here, and maybe we can get one more right there. So now we have adequate lighting. We do need to fill in these gaps right here. Let's go ahead and use andesite for that as well. So the roof is certainly rough on the inside. I guess we can fill in that gap right up there. If we really wanted to, we could cover it up and have it flat on the inside, just give ourselves a ceiling, but I really like that rough texture for a factory setting. I think it fits quite nicely, all of the mismatched blocks right up there and the unique designs. I think it works well for the factory. There is actually one more thing I would like to do before we call this build complete, and that involves podzol, packed mud, and coarse dirt. We are going to sprinkle a few of these blocks around here just to make the area look the part. So we will put some packed mud maybe right there. Let's get some podzol placed down, some coarse dirt right there. There we go. Now we are really completing the look of this building, because if we were standing here digging up mud all day, it would certainly splash around and get all over the place. So that is going to work quite nicely for us, and that is where we are going to end today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, definitely hit that thumbs up button and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on daily content as soon as I publish it. Check the description for some more important information, links, how to contact me, all of that good stuff. And with all of that being said, comment, like, subscribe, remember to stay optimistic, and I will see all of you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Bye!